certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Let's go ahead and get it. The following dangerous maneuvers will result in termination. Number one, if the teacher has to intervene, the instructor has to intervene, the road tester has to intervene. Example, if you're veering into a curb, if you go over a curb, if you go over the sidewalk, if you hit something that is not on the road, that could cause you to be terminated instantly. Next, disobeying a sign or a signal. If there's a stop sign, you need to stop for 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003. If you don't stop, that could be grounds for instant termination also. Next, speeding more over the speed limit. You may get one warning. Some road testers or instructors are very strict on this, so you need to prepare yourself. If your mom or dad tends to drive a little bit over the speed limit, you may develop that type of tendency and drive over the speed limit. So you have to learn to drive at a speed that is safe and reasonable for the conditions. You have to do your pre-driving checks. You need to make sure your windshield is not cracked. You need to make sure your headlights work. You'll ask to be turned on the headlights. You want to hit your brake lights, your signals. You must have insurance. Your car must have at least a quarter of a tank of gasoline to conduct a road test. You'll be starting in the parking lot. Next, any type of dangerous maneuver where the road tester may ask you to make a left-hand turn. Mirror, check your mirrors, turn signal, blind spot. If you don't do those maneuvers properly and safely, let's pretend you cut off a car. That could be grounds for termination. When you plan to take your road test, it's expected that you have your practice, you understand the skill set, and then you can execute those things properly. Don't go take your road test if you are not ready. Next, you strike an object. We've talked about this. You hit a car. You go over a curb. You lose control momentarily of your vehicle, or you fail to yield. Let's say kids are coming out and they walk in front of you. You've got to cover that brake. If you fail to yield in any of those circumstances, that could be instant failure. Let's continue. You want to have smooth stops. You never want to slam the brake. If you're slamming the brake, that shows the tester, the instructor, that you don't have control of your vehicle. You want to use the ball of a foot. Let's pretend this is your brake. This is the ball of my palm. You want to use the ball and gradually squeeze the brake until you feel the vehicle slow down. Next, you may be asked to do a controlled emergency stop where you're driving at 35. The instructor may say, stop. And you have to stop completely under control. Keep your torso square. You have your seatbelt on. Your seatbelt will lock. Don't panic. Stuff may fly forward. Don't panic. But you need to demonstrate those type of qualities. Next, you want to be able to control the car when you're backing up straight. They may ask you to reverse a driveway. You have to put it in R, you look over your shoulder. Yes, we do have a backup camera, but in some cases, they may not allow you to use the backup camera. The best backup camera, your eyes. So you have to look out of your back window. You want to cover your brake. In some cases, you want to put your arm over your seat, and this will turn your body. Then you can safely look over. So practice that. Next, you want to be searching your mirrors over your shoulder and selecting a target. If you're backing into the driveway, you want to use the garage door. You want to use an object to help you stay straight, to help you back up. If you turn the wheel to the left, the rear will go to the left. If you turn the wheel to the right as you're backing, the rear will go to the right. You need to know these things. Next, identify targets, visual skills. I want to see you looking left. I want to see you looking in the middle. I want to see you looking right. As an instructor, I'm going to sit and give you instructions. I'd like you to make a right turn. I should see you stopping, looking to the left, checking for oncoming traffic, checking for pedestrians, and then accelerating. You want to gradually squeeze your brake, use the ball of your foot. A lot of beginners, if this is your brake, they have their foot on the edge of the pedal, and when you push, the car doesn't really stop. Practice moving your foot to the middle of the brake and gradually squeeze so you have leverage. A lot of beginners wear thick sole shoes. Wear thin sole shoes. I'm not sponsored by Crocs. Crocs are good shoes. I'm not sponsored by Converse. Converse are good shoes. They're thin sole shoes that allow you to feel the brake and feel the gas. I want to continue. Next, you want vehicle control when backing and turning. You have to demonstrate total control of your vehicle. In an emergency situation, you have to be able to squeeze that brake, have control. If you're backing, you should be able to back up in a straight line, at least 10 to 15 feet. If you're backing and turning into a driveway, if we're in a driveway and if we're in the street and I'm asking you to back in and park in the driveway to the right, I should see you back up straight, looking over your shoulder, turning that wheel hand over hand. The rear will go to the right. I want to see you back in that driveway straight and square. You have to be able to back into a driveway. Next, you're searching, you're looking over your shoulder, you're doing your shoulder checks to the left, you're doing your shoulder checks to the right. This is my blind spot to my left, this is my blind spot to my right. If I'm making a lane change to my left, inside mirror, side mirror, mirror, turn signal, left is down. You look over your left shoulder, you check that blind spot. If I'm asking you to make a lane change to the right, mirror, center mirror, side mirror, mirrors, turn signal, look over your shoulder. Do those checks. You have to demonstrate that. Let's continue. Your search 15 to 20 seconds ahead. If you're driving in a school zone, we know there are kids out. Reduce your speed. Drive safe. You have to demonstrate in the environment. If you're driving in a school zone, there are kids there. There are parents picking up their kids. Little Johnny, little Susie. They're happy to see their friends. We are getting ready for our road test and you're over 25 or 30 miles an hour, that's grounds for failure. And those areas have video cameras because people are speeding and neglecting. And our most precious resource is little Johnny and little Susie. Reduce your speed, drive slow. Yes, I know you're a senior. I know you're a junior. Maybe you're going to a community college. They have stop signs, they have yield signs, and the campus police will give you a ticket if you're speeding in that college environment around the college because you're blowing a stop sign. You're late to biography. You're blowing a yield sign. You're late to physics. Leave early. The number one reason why people speed is because they are late. You'd be surprised if you leave 5 to 10 minutes early so you can relax. You can maybe get a coffee, get a little breakfast sandwich, then you can simply do your maneuvers and drive safely and you don't have to speed and run lights. Next, use balance 8 and 4, 9 and 3. Those are hand positions on the steering wheel. There's more than one way to hold the steering wheel and turn the steering wheel. In Europe, they do hand to hand. In the United States, the overwhelming majority, and yes, there's some people who are a little bit different, we do hand over hand. We know there's an airbag in the middle of the seat, and we're not trying to have this airbag blow up in our face. You need to learn the skill that is specific for you. If your mom and dad do hand over hand, and you've been seeing this since you were 3 or 4 or 5, you're probably going to turn hand over hand. If your uncle lays back and drives with one hand, you're going to lay back and drive with one hand. You're going to learn from your instructor. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. I've been teaching over 22 years. I'm open-minded enough to learn new things. There's more than one way to turn the steering wheel. Hand over hand is one, hand to hand. Some people hold it at 9 and 3, some at 10 and 2, some at 7 and 5. AAA, 1A, 2A, AAA says 7 and 5. It varies. So there's more than one way to turn the steering wheel. be safe, have both hands on the wheel. Use proper hand positioning when backing. You're going to look over your shoulder. You're ideally going to have your left hand at the top of the steering wheel. You're going to have your right hand over the seat. This is going to turn your body and you're going to look over your shoulder. If you're backing up the opposite direction, you're going to have your right hand at the top of the steering wheel. And when you put your arm, it's going to turn your body. Don't be afraid to do those things. Next, head turns and identifying proper targets. If you're turning right, I want to see you looking and turning right. If you're turning left, I want to see you looking and turning left. Don't be scared to look. You don't want to look and stare. You want to look to check. Is it clear? Is it open? Are kids there? Is there a bike on the ground? Is a lawnmower there? It's summer. People are out working on their yards. Kids are out playing. School is almost out. You have to be more aware, and it's expected when you drive, when you take your test. Let's continue. Able to judge and have adequate following distance. If you are tailgating cars and right on top of cars, that's instant failure. You don't have enough space to stop. You want to have space so you can react. If a truck is cut off and a truck has to slam brakes, you're going to rear in that truck and you're going to go underneath that truck because there's a huge guardrail, and that prevents cars from going under that truck, submarining and potentially decapitating the driver. So you don't want to tailgate trucks. You want to give them additional room. You want to stay out of the no zones. There are 4 no zones: left side, right side, front, and back. Stay out of the no zones of trucks. If you can pass, you want to try to pass potentially on the left side. But if you can't get to the left side, get in and out of that no zone immediately. I know how you feel. I know you have anxiety because when students see trucks, and I teach teens and adults, they panic, they start sweating, and you see them lift their foot off the gas. We're at 60, and all of a sudden, we're at 55, we're 49, and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, we're about to get caught off by the truck. Accelerate. Don't hang around potential no zones. Let's continue. You are searching using your mirrors, looking over your shoulders. This is including that truck. We never want to cut off a truck. If you're passing a truck, you want to wait until you see the headlights and the grille in your rear mirror. Then you look and check, you accelerate and get in front of that vehicle and stay in front of that vehicle. Don't lift your foot. Next, you want to be able to judge stopping distance. You want to do your mirror checks regularly. 12 to 15 seconds, you want to check that center mirror. You want to look to your left. You want to look to your right. You have to be aware of what's going on. Don't assume that other drivers see you because they don't see you. I want to continue. You use push-pull, okay? We talked about push-pull and then hand over hand. Fundamental skills are that. You're going to learn from your instructor. You're going to learn from me, looking at my content. You're going to learn from your driving instructor. I'm a driving instructor. You're going to learn when you search in different social media. You have to find the hand position. I have very long arms. I'm 6'4". If I'm too close to the steering wheel, it's in my face. I don't want an airbag to blow up in my face. Pow. I want to have room. If I overstretch, I'm overextending. So I want to have a slight bend in my elbow. Extremely important. Okay? Next, hand over hand steering when appropriate. If you're making a right turn, if you let the wheel slide, the car could drift out of the lane. Then I have to do emergency maneuver and turn that wheel just a little bit to keep us from hitting a car. I don't want that to happen. So you've got to control your speed. You have to control your approach into the turn. I want you to be successful by